In this video, I'll walk through how to set up and manage your services. Services are essential to your business setup. These are the offerings to your clients. I'll cover how to create services, assign services to your staff or resources, assign taxes if applicable, and manage display considerations. Keep in mind that only owners or administrators can manage services and their settings. At this point, if you haven't set up your currency, taxes, and payment processor if applicable, head over to the Finance Settings page before moving forward with creating any services, since services will need to reference some of those options. The Services tab is in the main menu. The Services page will display a list of all the services offered by your business. The services can be ordered by dragging and dropping, and you can also create categories to organize a large list of varying services. To list a service within a category, select Add Category, enter a name, and select checkmark. Now drag the services you wish to display in the category just below the category name. Any leftover services listed above your categories will display on their own outside any category in the Client View and Company Calendar dropdowns. To create a new service, select the Add Service button, or you can copy an existing service and simply change some of the options. Quick thing to point out here, if you provide video conference services, you will need to first link a service provider's profile to a Zoom account in order for the option to create a video conference service to appear in the Add Service dropdown. Check out the info about setting up video conferencing for instructions. There are 4 sections to review when setting up a service. We recommend reading the instructions associated with each setting, as they offer insights into what that option does. The service name is mandatory. It's the name that will appear on your company and client booking calendar, as well as invoices, notifications, and reports. Try to be descriptive in the names so it's clear to your clients what service they are booking, especially if you offer the same service with different durations. As an example, a massage therapist may want to name their services Massage 30, Massage 60, Massage 90, and so on. It's a good idea to add a description, as it provides info about the service to prospective clients, and it will be indexed by search engines, increasing your online visibility and help potential clients find your services through online search. The display color is how your appointments will display in your company calendar. This helps when viewing a busy calendar filled with different services. As a side note, there is an option in the Calendar Settings Admin Calendar Options that allows you to choose whether to display your appointments by service or service provider color. The default is by service color. The visibility controls whether the service is public, displayed to your clients for online booking, or private, only bookable by you and staff from the company calendar. A service must be active to display in your list of available services to book. If you no longer offer the service, set it to inactive. Bookings that are already on the calendar are not affected by making a service inactive. In the next section, we have the Duration and Providers page, where you'll assign the service providers, your staff, or standalone resources, equipment, that perform the service. Next, you'll need to set the service duration. This is the amount of time required to complete the service part of the appointment. If your service requires time after the appointment for cleanup to prepare for the next booking, you will set that up below as cleanup time. The cleanup time will add a buffer to the end of every booking of the service, pushing the availability of the following booking by the set amount of time. The next option controls if the service duration is displayed or not in the client booking screens. The next options are more advanced and not as commonly used, so unless you have a specific need for these, it's best to not consider them. The variable duration option allows you to set the duration of the service at the time of booking, or reduce the duration by dragging the bottom edge of the booking. This option only appears in the company calendar and not on the client booking side. The client booking interval override changes how the available times appear to your client's booking online. By default, the system is set up to maximize your available time by offering times based on the total duration of the service, which is the service time plus cleanup, and bumped up against the previous appointment's end time. This reduces the possibility of gaps. Do keep in mind that if you offer services with a variety of durations, it's impossible to have no gaps in your schedule. You may override this functionality to offer more start times to your clients by setting an interval of your choice. For example, setting this to 15 minutes would cause the available slots to display every 15 minutes instead of in blocks of the service duration. This setting is not recommended, as it would allow your clients to book randomly throughout the day, creating a greater number of gaps. Leave this set to 0 to maximize your bookings. This setting has no effect on bookings made from your company calendar. Preparation or travel time allows you to set a buffer at the beginning of an appointment. The most common use of this is mobile services, where you may need time to get to the next appointment. Do note that setting a prep time will cause the client view time slots to shift by that duration. For example, if it's set to 15 minutes, a client looking at a 60-minute service for a service provider who starts at 9 a.m. would see the first available time as 9:15. So you would lose the first 15 minutes of each day with this setting. If there's a time between bookings, we recommend using the cleanup time option. Only use prep time if you're sure it's required in order to satisfy some unique scheduling scenario. Do keep in mind, when creating bookings from your company calendar, you have the ability to override any limits and book any time. The fee section deals with the financial attributes of a service. Start with the fee, or price for the service, and whether to display that to clients in the booking calendar. The fee will always display in invoices and in the client's My Appointments list. If you know that a fee will change in the future, you should use the Set Future Fee option. This allows you to set up a new fee that takes effect in the future. When an appointment is booked today for a date in the future, the system will reference the future fee in the invoice and warn the client when booking that the fee is changing on a specific date. Take note though, making any change to the fee will not be reflected in invoices for already booked services. Each existing invoice will need to be adjusted manually. If you need to charge taxes on your services, you should have already set those up in Finance Settings. Select the tax or taxes that apply and choose if the tax is included or to be added on top of the fee. If taxes are included in a fee, that calculation will be displayed in the invoice item details. Next are prepayment or credit card on file options. In order to use these features, you must have a Stripe account connected to Click for Time in Finance Settings Payment Processing. This is required to be able to process payments and securely store a client's credit card. You can choose the option that best fits your needs for each service. If you choose prepayment, you can also set the percentage and if mandatory or optional. And lastly, the booking options, which allow you to decide how your clients choose whom to book with. In almost all cases, it's best to use option 1. Clients must choose a service provider or resource to complete the booking. If you have a specific reason to not force that choice, the other options are booking option 2. Clients may book without choosing a service provider or resource. Clients don't have to make a choice to complete their booking. The client will be assigned to a service provider as part of the booking process, no further action required on your part. Or booking option 3, clients cannot choose a service provider or resource. One will be assigned for them by you. In this case, the appointment is flagged as to be assigned, or TBA for short, and an indicator will appear at the top of your company calendar, where you can manage those assignments. These bookings need to be assigned to a service provider or resource by your staff as soon as possible. Once assigned, the client and service provider will be sent a confirmation notification. If you're a single service provider business, only use booking option 1, as there is really no choice for a client to make, and the other options will add an extra step in your booking process. That covers the basic service options. Next, let's take a look at more unique options that control the number of bookings that can be made per service, which is multiple bookings per time slot and limitations by resources. If you need to allow overlapping bookings of a service, use the maximum bookings per time slot per service provider option. This option controls how many appointments of this service can be booked for the same time slot. For example, if you want to allow 3 clients to book this service at the same time, set this option to 3. If you had 2 service providers who could perform this service, a total of 6 appointments could be booked before the slot is considered fully booked. Only use this setting if you're certain you want to allow for multiple bookings per time slot. This is useful if you do group events or can overlap clients arriving at the same time. If you need to cap the number of available slots overall because of a limited number of resources, this can be accomplished by assigning an add-on resource to the service. As an example, you may have 3 staff available to perform a service, but only 2 rooms or pieces of equipment at any time that are required for the service, which would limit that service to 2 bookings per time slot. To set this up, you first need to create the add-on resource that represents the room or equipment. Do this from the main menu, Resources, Add-on. Here you'll name the resources and set the number of maximum available. Add a description so you know what the resource represents. Once created, you would then assign the resource to the service from the Duration and Providers section, Add-on Resources tab. Set the number of resources a booking will consume. So for example, you would assign 1 room to each service that is performed in that room. When this service is booked, it will subtract 1 room from the pool of 2 available rooms. Once all rooms are booked in overlapping time slots, no further bookings can be made for that time as the 2-room limit has been reached. We recommend not combining the add-on resources and maximum bookings for time slot per service provider options, since those may conflict and cause unexpected behavior in the booking limits. Always remember to save the page after making changes. To edit a service, simply select the service name or Actions dropdown. Also keep in mind that some changes made to services are not retroactive and will not change any existing bookings. For example, changing the duration, fee, taxes, provider or resource assignments will only take effect for new bookings created after any changes were saved. That covers it for services. If you have any further questions about managing services, please don't hesitate to email us. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. We look forward to helping you grow your business.